Been an insane ride, but it will all come down to one more game. And Team Freedom yesterday, the reverse sweep, they're starting it here. They're one game away, but Tempo Storm also one game away from going to BlizzCon. Dreadnought, my heart, I don't know if I can take it anymore, but one more game. It's so insane to be a part of.
It is, and the momentum you can feel is building here. In that last game, if we're comparing it to the series of yesterday, even in the games, once the momentum started going over to Freedom, they weren't dominating and in control. That last game, for a lot of it, we saw that Freedom was able to maintain a lot of the control there, and so suddenly things are going to get wild here going into game number 5. I'll just flat out say it. Yesterday, I didn't think there was any way this team took out Team Octalysis. And I can tell you this much, going into today, I thought there was a 0% chance that we would see them be able to take on Tempo Storm. And somehow, against all odds in both of these series, they're now one game away from BlizzCon. I'm at the point where I'm just like, I'm ready for it. I thought that Tempo Storm was going to be the better representative, but at this point, Freedom, you have clearly shown you guys have what it takes.
You can continue to use the hashtag HGC to tell us your thoughts. We actually have some of those here because we know you guys out there are excited. Hoof it! Another amazing Team Freedom comeback. Another reverse sweep. Question mark? You know what? I've got question marks on this one too because I have no idea what to expect here, Trey.
Yeah, Tempo fans have that question mark with a sweating emoji behind it. From Hero Physio, we have, these games are why I love hashtag HGC. You wait until you see the battleground over the next one because I got a lot to talk about what I love about the HGC.
Lords of the Storm, we love hearing from you guys out there. Get in here, they say. This Team Freedom versus Tempo Storm series is insane. You know what? I'm not going to argue with you on that one.
And Smelly Danielle won. I believe all we need is a game 5. Let June play Ana.
What?
Oh man.
How did we get here?
The Let June play Ana. When your literal BlizzCon lives are on the line, ooh, that would be a bold statement. Can't help but feel like a Li Ming would have to be behind that one.
Well, Dreadnought said you're going to be excited for this battleground. It's time to find out what it is, because it's not Towers of Doom Dread.
It's greatness. Battlefield of Eternity for game number 5 to decide it all. Selected by Team Freedom, putting Tempo Storm in the first pick, first ban slot, which for a battleground like this can mean a lot to have that extra pick before the third ban does come through.
There are very few teams where there's a disparity between your first pick position and your second pick position for wins. Team Freedom, when you talk about the disparity, they are a first pick dominant team. Tempo Storm, the most dominant second pick team. So these teams are exactly where they want to be as we will go game number 5 here, Battlefield of Eternity.
And very few teams are willing to select Battlefield of Eternity in North America, J-Hal. But more importantly, even more so, more teams are afraid to just pick Battlefield of Eternity when it matters. And Freedom, willing to do it here. This is why I love this battleground so very much. And it's going to force these teams to really be thinking ahead when it comes to this draft. If we start off with standards, Medivh and Maiev.
Diablo ban will come out here from Tempo Storm. Keeping that away from Zugrug, which is something we know he can dominate with. Hanzo has to be considered here by Team Freedom, else that will likely be the first pickup. Instead, it will be an Abathur ban.
Tyrande is it the first pick here for Tempo? It is.
Hanzo's let through here. And Lutano will probably happily take a Hanzo. I cannot imagine Hanzo being let through these first 3 picks.
With that, if they do end up going the Hanzo route, do you go with the white main too to deny the double support from Tyrande?
You know what?
Vala Uther.
Hanzo who?
Hanzo has an opportunity to get picked up by Tempo Storm. It should be noted, J-Hal, that Vala does fill that racing capability better than a majority of heroes post-7, the same way Hanzo does, but not as fast and not as good as Hanzo. But it does meet that one key element that we've been looking for, considering it's Battlefield of Eternity, and pairing it with the Uther removes that from Tempo. It's an Arthas and Raynor showing himself here in Game 5.
Okay. Just like we saw somebody woke up from a nap recently and saw the world changed, well, I'm continuing to see it because Battlefield of Eternity, where Hanzo is not picked up by the second ban phase, and Vala and Raynor have both been picked up, and Arthas picked up here. The Uther likely showing a double support possibility from Team Freedom. They've run it in the past. Li Ming will be banned out by Team Freedom. Tempo Storm, see if they target maybe the white main to deny that double support.
Are they afraid at any point of a Sergeant Hammer as well? Because Sergeant Hammer hasn't been selected, but we know can dictate some of the control over mid. And with the Li Ming ban, it denies
Karazim.
One of the counters towards it.
Team Freedom could easily go Karazim in this position.
They
The
could.
Uther, though, I think in the past, though, the Uther has been collusion on that while Yoda would flex over to another one. They've run an Uther Brightwing. I think actually Yoda was on the Uther. It's been so long. See if that is indeed a protect the Vala composition. Oh
Ariel.
my goodness.
Doubling down there, along with the Blaze for his independent self-sustain. Tass Illidan snap locked here now from Tempo Storm in game number 5.
So the one thing that you mentioned about Vala's race potential, it comes through Q build.
Yeah.
Going into Hungry and Arrow. Evasion's nice against an auto attack Vala, but that Q build can make it through. You can get some spell armor with some talents later in the game. But getting that lockdown with an Uther stun and a Vala bursting through there, their potential is there.
But the trade-off against an Illidan gets very, very interesting and gets altered a little bit as we see the Sonya picked up at the very end here.
Is this Battlefield?
Yeah. I know the draft don't look like it. When you look at the BOE draft of Team Freedom here, you go, this is like Tomb. It could be Infernal
Towers,
Shrines.
maybe.
It's just not the Battlefield where racing matters at the same rate here. But the biggest thing is Q-Build Vala has some of the best single target damage output as well. Like for things like the Arthas to get the one shot there, that's going to be really great. But the hitbox of Hungering Arrows is probably one of the harder skill shots I think in the entire game, which is surprising to say for how generic Vala kind of feels. Illidan's near impossible to hit a lot of times reliably with the double Q, and that makes his evasion and the downtime, because your auto attacks are not very high impact and your spell damage is not as reliable as your frost shots, puts you in a very vulnerable situation.
But if you can lock them in place with an Uther Hammer.
And you land it, he dies twice as fast.
Yes. That is going to be the key.
It's very interesting, the trade-offs here between the two, and then mixing that with the offlane pressure that's going to provide compared to the Sonya. Sonya, dispel damage. She trades well into an Illidan.
Let's get it underway. This is Game 5, the epic conclusion to the North American playoffs, where Tempo Storm will face off against Team Freedom, and that will be Glaurung. He will be on that Illidan. Cattle, he'll be on the front line on Arthas. Ben will be on the Tassadar. Fan in that double, or he'll be on the Raynor, and June will be on Tyrant. And that's Tempo Storm here in blue.
And the team looking for the double reverse sweep here is Team Freedom, with Ariel played by Collusion. Gonna have Lutano on that Vala, the very high impact of this game. Zugrug on his Blaze, being that primary warrior for the team. Nasmus on the Sonya, and last is Yoda on Uther. Q-Build Vala is the pickup here.
So to go back to that point with double support, this is Yoda on Uther, something I imagine they practice from time to time, but you have to be in communication. If Vala goes through, the Q's down, and you get that stun in, it's almost like a wasted stun at that point. So I think it is paramount that they have that type of synergy, they have that type of connection, as we'll see the three-man up in the top with Ariel, Vala, and Blaze, as they'll trade out here. The shields come in for Fan to get some poke in return.
Another very important thing to be pointing out with this build on the Vala is the lack of hot pursuit. She does not move faster than all the targets she's auto-attacking against. So her just damage output overall, Jay-How, is a major setback compared to that other build. And so how that works out against the four-man here of Tempo Storm is going to be interesting. As you already saw there, the dodging of Lunar Flare and the threat potential on Lutano was already higher than it normally is there on a Vala.
Well, Lutano and team, they made the rotation down, snipped out by the Owl from June on that Tyrande, and that has given them the opportunity to just push down that top lane. Already have the lead when it comes to racing down these structures. These teams are escalating things quickly. Zugrug trying to defend here. You can even see shielding onto the minions to keep the fort shots off of the heroes as much as possible, to buy as much sieging capabilities as you can, and these teams are going all out right now.
Tempo Storm's going for a five-man collapse to the bottom half instead, trying to cut things off. Who can get the mount here, or more so the dismount? Arthas just in range. Not going to be the case, and Tempo Storm even rotating out Glaurung, sending them about 2 to 3 minions behind inexperience. Not a problem now, but possibly as things going to creep forward.
The Sentinel comes out. It will identify that Team Freedom is on their Shaman camp. Tempo Storm will turn their attention to the bottom Impalers, see how Team Freedom will try and utilize that. I can't imagine them sitting on it for a full minute. They might try and just get an early push here, sieging behind this 4-man of Team Freedom, taking early advantage of this, not trying to get this out during the objective phase. Looks like they're going to double down with that top camp as well, Dread.
They are going to double down and get that siege. And Tempo Storm a little bit late here on the camp. The question is, how fast are they going to make the rotation to stop the bleeding there in the northern lane? The Vala still has pretty good pressure when it comes to her sieging opportunities, but Raynor's a little bit closer here with the full Q build. As we now have that here, 30 seconds out from our first Immortals. Cattle falling pretty low, going to have to back. Actually opts the tap, so likely not going to go back here as the Shaman being dealt with.
The whip back will buy some space and time. The one tower goes down 10 seconds before these Immortals spawn. Zugrug doing his job to clear up the camps at the bottom as the Immortal phase about to be underway. And given these compositions, it's been a long time since we've seen this style. Glaurung will dive right over. He'll meet a spear from Nasmus, and he'll go back, forced to retreat in that situation, Dread.
Getting really confident there, trying to get the interrupt onto the mount and help the transitions in favor of Tempo Storm, costing Glaurung. He did end up looking for a tap. Now going to make his way up towards the top, or maybe the Immortal itself. It's a 1-4 split from Tempo Storm. It looks like Immortal is the focus for Glaurung. And now what can Team Freedom make happen? Are they going to look for the 4-man siege, the 5-man siege on bottom instead, knowing Illidan's race is rather slow?
For Vala, it's important to the primary target be that Hungering Arrow to stack up that level 4. Lutano trading out with Fan there. The healing coming in from the double support. They're continuing to siege up here. Lunar Flare's going to miss, as will the Roots, as Team Freedom continuing to move forward. Cattle zoning out, as Lutano just trying to poke down, but Fan not willing to back down in this situation.
But the amount of damage that Team Freedom was able to get done is really impressive here as the Lunar Flare comes in after the Howling Blast. Jet Propulsion out, and Team Freedom is just fine because they cleared that bottom lane. And then it took damage onto the floor. Eventually, Team Freedom's going to get this bottom fort based on their bottom lane pressure. As you see Fan zoning out Team Freedom. Very good job there with the pressure done. Zugrug on the side, maybe a Jet Propulsion available. Comes through with it, will land.
The whip back by Collusion will grant him a second stack, looking for the damage that he can get, the extra knockback range. Easier to land here, seeing if they can find something. Halftime show kicked off, and will receive the shield. Glaurung comes in. Cattle is no mana on one side. This fight is going everywhere. Nasmus trying to get the takedown, but Cattle will stay alive for now. June is getting low. Nasmus continuing to track this down. The whirlwind comes out. Glaurung is going to be first blood. The shield comes out. Nasmus, does he have one more spear? Another stun? They do not, but that is first blood, an advantage over to Team Freedom.
And J-How, that is going to be a continuous problem as this game moves on, is who is going to stop the Sonya. It was a problem in the last game when there was 3 spells to get the interrupt. In this game, there is literally a Lunar Flare, and that is not reliable to set up there unless it is a follow-up to the Howling Blast. And once level 7 hits, that Howling Blast is not a problem, as it will be juked there with the talent build of Team Freedom. And that gives Team Freedom a structural advantage, an experience advantage, and even more with this Immortal spawning with 33% shielding in top.
See the sieging potential. We already saw the sieging potential with the camps earlier. Illidan has to stay bottom, or at least he did momentarily. Sonya will get that bottom fort, trying to make sure they don't get 2. Does Team Freedom. True Shot Aura was used, stun, zoning out that of Tempo Storm. Shields have fallen, this will move into melee range. Lutano continuing to try to make plays, has that reset, that repeater arrow at 7, getting more stacks onto that Hungering Arrow at 4.
Good job interrupting the, the Jet Propulsion there out from Fan.
Here comes Nasmus.
Yeah, huge flank, but he's actually not going to commit with that Ancient Spear. If he had the opportunity, it would have been to the left shrub there, but Tempo able to back out, losing the top fort. They will lose bottom fort, and a full level deficit here for Tempo Storm pre-10 on the final game of this series.
There it goes, the experience, a full level lead. Team Freedom in control in the early game. Tempo Storm can get back into this. Illidan stacking up with that unending hatred at level 1. Has the Tacitor that will get stronger as the game goes on. But as you mentioned, trying to find a way to deal with that Sonya is probably going to be the most difficult thing for this team of Tempo Storm. And Nasmus just wreaking havoc in that back line.
With the Sentinel sent out there by Tempo, they should know when it comes to all the positioning of Freedom. Glaurung making his way towards top, looking to join in with the siege, knowing that eventually you can pick up the experience being pushed and pressured out on bottom. for free and maybe help further the advance of Tempo Storm on top. It's a 4 versus 5 pre-10. Tempo realizes things are getting dire quickly, but Nasmus with the rotation up towards top is going to make it a 5 versus 5 in favor of Freedom. Glaurung goes in. The dive's going to be here. Tempo Storm trying to threaten. As Jet Propulsion comes out now from Zugrug, Glaurung goes back in. Now Nasmus here. True Shot Aura used.
With no minions, the siege will stop, cease to exist. 11 out of the 20 stacks for Lutano on that level 4. As we are moments away from the next Immortal spawning for Team Freedom Dreadnought, they are so close to level 10. It seems like this might be a very easy Immortal pickup for them, but the spawning is this on the left side, will be the defensive side for Tempo Storm. I don't know if they can step out to do that, so it might be an easy halftime kickoff for Team Freedom in a moment.
And this is one of those weird situations where Team Freedom actually has an opportunity to really make a big power play on choosing which side they want the Immortal to go, because they have such a big lead. If they want to get some free damage out, they're going to volunteer just for the pressure on the bottom half. Not going to go for that first half kick off the halftime show, but that's going to allow Glaurung to get free experience in top. And definitely a big setback here when it comes to that window here for Freedom, trying to find that kill and not going to find it.
That Vala race you mentioned with this Q build, you can see bursting through that. No Hanzo, no problem. As Lutano gets through that, still no 10, but it is nearing here for Tempo Storm to get back into this fight. As we'll see where the Immortals spawn here, and it will be top-bottom. As Team Freedom turns their attention towards this Immortal, we'll try and burst this down before 10 is picked up.
But once 10s are here, expect Glaurung to just use the hunt onto the backline immediately. There it is. Lutano's going to be the focus. Pre-cleanse already there is Lutano. Kiting away for now. The stun out from the Immortal forces out the bunker. There's the Aegis focus still onto Lutano as he vaults away. Jet Propulsion comes through on the back end, forcing the dimensional shift, the kite, and the damage, but Lutano is down. Glaurung and Cattle found the kill. Now Yoda is their focus, while the rest of Temple doing work onto Zugrug. Yoda manages to make it out. I say that, but Glaurung knows no mercy. Gets another kill, 3 for nothing in favor of Tempo.
Yeah, Team Freedom went all in, and they came up 760 damage short on that Immortal. See if they try and come in. Death timers are short enough they can re-engage here, and the race potential of Tempo Storm, it's not like they're fast clearing the Immortal on their side. Jun and team will walk away. Nasmus comes in, hits the spear, gets some damage in. Uther moments away.
But Glaurung should try and dance around and at least force a little bit of this fight. Able to juke the Jet Propulsion, uses the friend or foe, finds himself a friend and Fan. And they make it out. Now still a huge shielding on this Immortal, though the experience is sitting at even. J-How, it is very, very likely that Freedom looks at a keep at this point in time in a double support composition. If Tempo Storm messes up, they could look for game. But we also have to remind that an Illidan exists on Tempo Storm. This is one of the longest lanes and distance to safety ever. If Freedom messes up, Glaurung is going to be a major problem.
Here it goes. Team Freedom will push down this bottom lane. It's an early Immortal, but they have the sieging potential. The keep wall already starting to fall as Team Freedom. There comes the root. As the hunt comes in on the backside, but now Cattle, he's stuck in here. He's on the Immortal. That's going to be the knockback. True Shot Aura has been used. Starfall down as well. Bunker comes in, trying to snipe down Cattle. Shields have fallen on the Immortals. It continues to move forward.
Now going to be focusing onto the keep. His Fan using his heal there. Still a little bit of health onto it. Lunar Flare comes through. Great cleanse out from Yoda. Now Cattle still falling low, able to heal up 50%. And counting onto the Immortal. The keep now down. What does Freedom do? It looks like back out is the call. Satisfied with what they've been able to obtain and furthering their race to 13.
Dreadnought, this is where Team Freedom has an advantage, but the experience because of those last few kills is not substantial. It's about that control, and Illidan on the other side has that global with the hunt, something to defend with.
One of the biggest things I want to point out with this composition, Jay, how normally when we go, you're a team with the advantage. I want to see you get that split pressure. I want to see you siege up on top. The last thing I want to see from Team Freedom is risk positioning top. That is the lane where there is no fort, and that is one of the only ways where the Illidan Arthas composition can track you down and kill you the same way they did over that Immortal fight, which is why Tempo is trying to force here, knowing that they are behind when it comes to that macro, and Freedom likely able to avoid those such circumstances.
And all it takes is one mistake against an Illidan composition late game for them to potentially siege up. You get an Illidan, if there's just a keep in the way as this game goes on, it's lights out, game over. So we see Unending Hatred, the baseline completed, the stun comes in, Lunar Flare in response with the Storm, the Divine Storm rips Glaurung apart. Now Nasmus living in that backline will continue to track down Fan trying to walk away. The shields are going to be there. The Hyperion out in response. Zugrug and team trying to track this down.
Fan trying to keep himself up. He will end up healing for a little bit longer as Cattle still being threatened. Nasmus with an Ancient Spear opportunity, but the penetrating round was enough to zone out. Clever use of the Hyperion, using it in the direction of retreat, and Tempo Storm end up holding on, but now 25 seconds out from
Freedom
this
needs to get
Immortal.
out. Hunt is available. They have to make sure not to get stuck in here.
Lutano, don't separate from the supports a little bit too far here. That's the biggest thing to keep in mind when facing that Hunt. 15 seconds, Jayhow. Both teams have a Shaman up, but keepless is Tempo Storm, at least on bottom.
Defensive positioning for the blue team will always be the shield, so it was going to be a top-bottom for Team Freedom to make their move towards that bottom lane, which means that Tempo Storm will have to defend in this top lane. The Shaman camp that will be pushing out, that job will fall to the Illidan. The Hunt still available as he's trying to get a small push bottom, but the response now starting to come in from Tempo Storm as Team Freedom will look to turn their attention towards a potential team fight.
But this is the situation I was talking about, Jayhow. Look at that Shaman camp pushing top. Eventually somebody on the side of Freedom may want to go push up on that, help that, make sure it gets that keep. And when that happens, Tempo Storm will strike. They have to strike. Glorong did end up backing here, dealing with the top half as Tempo poking and prodding away onto the Immortal, finding it now at about 80%. Lutano and friends find their way up to the keep front wall. Let's see what Tempo does.
The root comes in. Glaurung staying mounted, trying to find a position. Does he have a Hunt opportunity? Nasmus moves forward. The keep wall has already fallen. Lutano still with this at his back. They're just pushing down this top lane. That will net them some decent XP. Now it's a full level lead in favor of Team Freedom. They'll start to make their way back. Have to be careful. The Oracle comes out for vision. The dismounts along the way. Here comes the Hunt into a Crystal Aegis.
Forcing the Aegis now. The Divine Storm goes in. All the focus on the Glaurung, but he survives along with the blind. Cattle able to heal with the Army of the Dead. Everybody getting into the bunker. The flamethrower there, but now Fan wreaking havoc, giving him a pepper as the oil goes down and stops the advance of Tempo Storm. Now focusing on to the Immortal itself as that bottom fort will fall in their favor, helping in that experience.
Lutano, though, made that track down to the bottom, did complete that Hungering Arrow quest, so he is ripping through that health bar, but we do see the lead in favor of Tempo Storm from some of that early damage done. The fight will come on again. There's going to be the root followed up. Zugrug will receive some healing. Fan being tracked down. Fan out of position. The Lunar Flare as a defensive unit. He's still being on there, but here comes the fight, Dread.
Cloud found his positioning. He goes on to the stun of the Immortal. Now it needs to juke away from that, able to kite out. He needs a friend or a foe. Cattle gets stunned out. The kill is there. Freedom up a man. And now in a position to be able to secure the remainder here of this Immortal. Glau finds a friend in Vin, gets back out. And my goodness, 24 seconds where Freedom still has an advantage. Let's see what they make happen with it.
You mentioned the lack of CC. Without an Arthas, it's literally a Hunt, which is available, in a Lunar Flare. That's about all you got. And this is going to be Team Freedom. They'll make their attention up towards this Immortal. They'll pick up another Immortal Dreadnought. It doesn't have much of a shielding, but think about just moments ago. They used that top lane pressure. That keep wall is already down. They might make a play for another keep here, and we're late enough in the game with a Vala that this could be more.
Watch Cattle's positioning. He'll likely actually use the fog up above to try and get a flank or something on Freedom if they get in a tough position. The fact that he's not even willing to move up there already shows that Tempo is very concerned of the situation that they're in. And now the 16 spike going to be here for Freedom.
Dread, think about Benediction now. If you come into that back line, 16's about to be
dead.
picked up. Illidan has to be very careful with how hard he dives. Team Freedom moving forward, shield already off. Here comes the Hyperion, down come the Roots. Nasmus and team, they go forward.
Jet Propulsion does end up landing. Fan on the back line, giving the pepper. Immortal already falling down to 50%, but so is the keep. Starfall is out. Tempo Storm is on their last stand here on this keep. The keep goes down. Now what does Freedom decide to do here? As they taste BlizzCon, they're going to advance forward here. The double reverse sweep Dream, and now they have made their way onto the court versus 5 members of Tempo Storm.
And here we go, Team Freedom. There's going to be the Hunt into the Crystal Aegis. Right there, there's going to be the Root follow up the Divine Storm.
Arthas!
Cattle somehow survives for now. Nasmus hops back into the bunker. The shield starting to fall onto the core.
But
and that's going to be Team Freedom backing away.
But Illidan is going to have a heyday here if he can get onto anybody whatsoever. Glaurung, there comes the Q. The Lunar Flare comes out. He's able to survive the first iteration of Burst. Nasmus spinning to win. The healing coming through with the Howling Blast. The cleanse is there. The heals from Collusion. Now Fan trying to get the pepper spread, slowing everybody from Collusion, but the blind is there. If he gets one tick of pepper, he does not. Glaurung, W and Q is available to close the gap. He will.
The Root follow-up, there's going to be a Lunar Flare right under 3 people, but it's not enough, but it is going to be enough. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Nasmus continuing to try and live back there. Collusion trying to get the heals out. Nasmus, that's going to be the 3rd member to fall. Collusion will get the whip back. That will buy some time, some energy, but Collusion, he is in pursuit by Glaurung. That's going to be a 4th kill. And Tempo Storm starting to fight back, Dred.
They are fighting back, but somebody has to worry about those double, triple catapults that have made their way to the core. It looks like Vin is the man to volunteer towards that. Nope, Chuck Testa going to be another 8 seconds, so that is the case. A bit of damage on the core, but not a concern for Tempo Storm as they have Glaurung to help with this siege here towards this keep. This will be able to help secure at least a little bit of free damage here onto it. Is the Hyperion already out?
They need to just make sure they clear minions if they were going to go in there. But instead, they'll walk away. Hyperion use, only 6% of that core fell on the side of Tempo Storm. And now we're right back to where we started, where it's time for these teams to throw down. But there are 2 keeps absent on the side of Tempo Storm, and Team Freedom waiting for Collusion to come back up. He'll be back momentarily, and we're going right back to Fight Town.
To quote a player who's pretty darn good at Heroes of the Storm, Snitch, now that we're on Battlefield of Eternity down 2 keeps, we're in prime position to win the game, Jay How. That's where Tempo Storm find themselves, knowing that this winner, the victor here of this game, represents North America internationally, and Tempo Storm has not been a name that has not been in that stance since nearly the foundation and creation of the HGC. Yoda comes up forward. Zugrug lands a jet propulsion onto Cattle.
Lutano tracking down, using those hungering arrows to get some damage in. The Root in return also has that armor reduction with that 13 pickup. Fan versus Lutano will continue to trade out there. Shields come in by Vin on that Tassadar, and Sonya will venture off, push out that top lane. That's going to warrant a response momentarily, as we'll see the fight. We'll start to rotate around this map. Zugrug has found himself Cattle. There's going to be the stun, Dred.
Good Lunar Flare coming out there. Now June's completely split from the rest of the team. That's a huge problem. And there goes the stun out from Collusion. The Divine Storm. The Lunar, oh my gosh, they get the Rain of Vengeance as well. But if they can't kill June, they burn so much. And look at Lutano on the back end. There's the Crystal Aegis. Glaurung gets the kill, and now Tempo Storm can wreak havoc here.
If they get this team wipe, Dred, it's game over. Lights out. That's 2 members down. Collusion and team, they're starting to fold. This is going to be the Illidan show from here on out.
Yoda has
the catapults are on core. There is a camp at the bottom. I think this is going to be enough for Tempo Storm. They're moving directly to the side of Team Freedom. I think they're going for it. Glaurung trying to get some type of clear. I don't know if they're going to have time. Glaurung's still 50 seconds away before they can hunt in.
He will be able to, as long as he kept up his auto-attacking, but actually they aren't comfortable with the auto-attack reset. They're not going to waste any time. Tempo wants to end this game.
They're going for it.
They are sending Illidan over. They are ready to try and take this. 30 seconds out until they're going to have the Divine Storm. They back out after the point. Interesting call here.
That also gives them almost 20.
It's showing the tenseness here of this game for both teams with everything on the line. We wait out the Immortal halftime show as Tempo Storm kick it off, and we are back to square one.
Yeah, but that square one is going to start with Tempo Storm with the talent tier advantage in a moment. See if Team Freedom can start to reel this back. They have started to wilt in these last few team fights, but they are not a team that is willing to give up all the heroics available for Team Freedom. A few down for Tempo Storm as they'll get a little poke in with Vin on that Tassadar, and Team Freedom starting to move around. Dred, if they're going to take a fight pre-20, it has to be right now.
They have to find a way to get a clever rotation.
Backdoor?
They're trying to have kind of backdoor for a moment here as they move up. This is just going to demand some answers of the positioning from Tempo. That ball was very desperate. They might all in this in jail. I don't know if they can. There goes the hunt.
There's the heal coming out. Rain of Vengeance comes down in response. Starfall starting to come down. Zugrug, the bunker is out. That's going to only save him. That'll give him an exit out on the side, but the Lunar Flare, the Sentinel will land for the slow on Zugrug. That's why he's having trouble walking away. That's going to add another root in there. Cattle starting to zone off. Zugrug in trouble.
Zugrug is down, and now Sonya is just now joining the fight. Lutano trying to kite away, but the Howling Blast ends up connecting. No Lunar Flare going to be thrown out there quite yet as they land the slow. Glaurung, now he's licking his chops here on that Illidan, knowing that the retreat is too far. Collusion's going to be the focus. The Lunar Flare comes in, and another person dead. Now Lutano on the Vala trying to kite away, but Fan gets the auto attack. That is the 3rd kill as the Divine Storm hits, but now Yoda feels the wrath of Tempo Storm. And with that, J-How, Tempo Storm has been able to hold on and now make their way to the core. And I know it's been close. It's been back and forth, but this is it. Illidan on the core, 4 members dead. Tempo has done it.
And this will be Tempo Storm, the icing on the cake. It couldn't have come down any better than this. And Tempo Storm will confirm their spot at BlizzCon after a dramatic series here versus Team Freedom, almost bringing the magic back. But it is the story that has been foretold for 3 straight years. The core of this roster with Tempo Storm will find their way to BlizzCon.
You don't need to hear words from me to feel better about that game because that was so close from both sides. And Tempo Storm, they've got to feel happy here after how tense that ending game got and being down 2 keeps on Battlefield of Eternity, but still having the strength to bring it back.
I'm absolutely elated for Tempo Storm, but for Team Freedom, 2 days in a row, reverse sweep yesterday, so close here. You said 2 keeps down. It was like they were on the doorstep of confirming this, but crushing defeat. That last track down, I mean, I see the Sentinel hit, it gets the slow, that helps the track down onto Zugrug. Just play after play after play made by Tempo Storm.
And it was clear that things got very, very wild for Freedom. If you go back and rewatch that, we didn't point it out, but Sonya was nowhere to be found for 40 seconds. She's on that top Immortal. She Ancient Spirit it, had to remount and then reinitiate, and by that point, Zugrug was already down. They thought they had a safe retreat on bottom. Again, the Illidan Tronda factor, a little bit too hard to underestimate. They're always getting that chase down, and you could just see that they were doing their best to recover in that moment. But at the end, we talked about the experience and what that means here for a couple rosters, and I can't help but feel like Tempo Storm displayed that their experience is why they were able to recover down such a dire and drastic moment.
That fight on the left side of the battleground that kind of snowballed there before that last fight, June, you pointed it out, was split like crazy. We saw the hunt in by Glaurung, Crystal Aegis out, some damage comes in, and a Max Lunar Flare hits right outside of that and just popped. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is happening, and it continued to happen. And no matter what, Team Freedom, Dread, we saw them move towards the core. They took enough damage, they were forced to back away. There's going to be a lot of questions that they'll have for a long time on this series, because the difference between winning this game and losing this game is so entirely different. It's just a wild story. And guys, we don't have a winner interview. We have a winners, plural, interview, as we've got Tempo Storm on the line.
Hi, I'm Vin. I'm Vin Hotz.
So we've got Vin and Cattle and apparently Evil Vin there. Guys, that was a wild series that Team Freedom almost had the magic, but that game, you guys are able to reel it back. Well, how are you feeling right now?
I'm shaking right now.
pretty monk-ass. Pretty monk-ass. That was way too close.
Yeah, way too close.
Yeah, I think we should have been able to finish that Curse Hollow game, but dang, Team Freedom played really well. Didn't expect it, I think.
Well,
I felt like I played really, really terrible, but these guys, they carried it for me.
Well, it seemed plays made all around, and it came down to an Illidan pick in the last game. We saw an Illidan Kerrigan. We've seen the Arthas. This new meta seems to just be old meta for you guys. Coming into this series, you've been able to hide a lot for a long time. What's the thought process coming in with such diverse drafts?
Well, after scrimming against Oct for a while and watching them play, we were convinced that all tanks suck. I've basically not played tank for about a month now. Arthas is okay because he's barely a tank. He's kind of like the exception because he's a bruiser. But everything, tanks are trash.
Overrated.
Justing is
shout out to Justing, by the way. He really made me think, because we were expecting Oct all week, and I don't know, I was expecting like the Oct series and for it to be like the hardest series we've ever played in HGC. I still think they're a really talented team when they're playing at 100%, and I think their drafts were insane. So we've been theory crafting literally all week. What's good about their comps? How can we beat it? What would we add? What can we add to make it better?
What would Justing do?
What would Justing do?
WWJD.
I mean, Freedom did really well too. Like they gave us a run for our money.
Absolutely.
Dang, the Bala
Freedom
Ario.
is so good at not giving up.
Yeah.
Like in any position.
Oh, we had that game 3 though. That was so free.
It was just a couple calls
funny.
that we made that were wrong, and
Just top hands.
Yeah. Oh well, whatever.
Before I send you over to Dread, just please confirm for me, you wore those mustaches while playing, correct?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Mine got
his
lost
just fell
somewhere.
off.
Yeah.
His fell off.
It didn't stick to the mustache.
I'll send you guys over to Dread.
I've got to ask here, closing in specifically towards Vin, I want to ask from your standpoint, man, being one of the newer members, the newest member of the roster, and with so many things going on, and Tempo Storm being such a big name in the North American scene. What were your thoughts going into the series, and more so, what are your feelings now knowing that you have been able to qualify for BlizzCon, the biggest tournament in all of competitive heroes?
I'm better than Psalm. I'm just kidding. Nah, but going into it, I was quite confident. But after game 3, I was kind of shaken. Like I was shaking at that point, and that confidence kind of backfired in a sense. But my teammates, they really did everything for me. Like they carried me.
Also, I want to ask a little bit towards Glaurung. With the double Illidan coming out, especially with the Divine Shield and the Aerial Blinds of the last game, you could definitely see once the Divine Shield came in, like you trying to react to how to deal with that. Were you, I guess, scared to a certain extent, knowing in game number 5 so much on the line with that Illidan pickup and then so much being built to make sure that you aren't the problem that Illidan can be? What were your thoughts once you had that Divine Storm come down for the first time?
I think I inted 3 times on Illidan today, but for the most part, I didn't really feel too scared because lately in Hero League I've been playing pretty much only Illidan, so I think I know his matchups and his calcs pretty well. So I think I misplayed like 2 or 3 major positional errors in team fights, but besides that, I don't know. Like the scariest thing to me is hunt timing. Sometimes you win or lose just based off the timing in which you hunt, so that's always like the most stressful part of Illidan for me. Actually playing him though, I don't feel too stressed.
That's awesome, and you know, now maybe for the entire group here, I mean, you guys have done, it feels like another day in the office, but you guys are qualifying as the 2nd seed to represent North America at BlizzCon. What does it feel like here, guys?
Exhausting. I'm done for the day. I'm going to sleep in an hour.
Power naps.
Has been long, but I'm really glad we made it. It feels surreal.
I'm just excited for BlizzCon. First time for me, so. Oh, that's true.
Well, that's it. All it is here from me, guys. And congratulations on today's win and being able to, you know, stick together against the magic that seemed like it was brewing for Team Freedom.
Thank you.
For you all, this is a similar situation. It's boot camp time. You guys already live close enough, but you want to make sure you're all there. You get the boot camp going. Does it feel like this is the way it's supposed to be? You come into boot camp. Did it feel, was the confidence there like, look, we're doing things the right way. We're doing it the Tempo Storm way. Did it just feel like this is what it was supposed to be like? Was this destiny for you guys just to always be here?
Yeah.
I think so. I think we have ambition to win BlizzCon throughout this entire team, and it's spanned the course of many years. So not even making it to BlizzCon would have been a huge disappointment, I think. Yeah. So, like, I think it's a unanimous sigh of relief for us, and it's like now we can focus on our main goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boot camp's really helpful too. I think boot camp is where we start demonkeying as a team. We monkey a lot in like HGC regular season. We didn't boot camp at Western Clash. Snap monkeyed that tournament, so demonkeying was pretty important. Got back into like our normal form and helped our confidence a lot.
I would ask you what it's going to be like to prepare for the international event, but we don't even know what the meta is anymore, so we're just going to skip that. I'm going to give you guys all the time that you want here for shout-outs. Just the floor is yours in whatever form you want it.
All right, we'll start it off quick with shout-outs to Tempo Storm, of course, for putting up this boot camp for us. This was really helpful. This is why we qualified, and we're really grateful that we got this. Shout out to Red Bull for helping us out too here. Shout outs to the rest of our sponsors, Twitch, NVIDIA, and Overwolf, and Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, keeping us well fed.
I really love to say.
Shh, June, no.
Okay, fine.
And then yeah, shout outs to my stream, shout outs to my team. Well played, everyone. GG. And go everyone else.
And shout outs to my grasshoppers.
Oh yeah,
And Twitch chat, I see you. I see you.
Shout out to all our long-term supporters of Tempo Storm too.
Yeah.
We've had some ups and downs, and we appreciate the support.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us through all the disasters, big and small. But in the end, we managed to pull it together.
Right, congratulations, guys. We'll see you all at BlizzCon.
See you there.
See ya.
What a wild ride. Just a wild ride, these playoffs. We had 3 of our 4 series best of 5s. Reverse sweep, almost reverse sweep. Just, we had a little bit of everything, Dredd.
We did. We had a little bit of everything, and that doesn't stop when it comes to results, when it comes to pick bans, when it comes to strategies and play styles, whether it be taking advantage of some of the unique things of maps like Dragonshire and some of the ways that you can manipulate the battleground there, or just stick to a generic meta, well-rounded compositions. We got a lot here in this year's playoffs.
Well, we can take a look at the bracket so we can kind of show you guys how everything worked here. It was Endemic getting that first victory over LFM. Team Freedom took them down, and it was Team Freedom. They broke a rung on that ladder as they took down Octalysis, came in from that number 4 seed, made it all the way to Game 5 against the Titans of NA that have always been there for what seems almost forever. But 3 years running with this core group was enough for Tempo Storm to hold on 3-2 in this final game. A crushing defeat for Team Freedom. Octalysis would have loved to have seen Octalysis Freedom everybody try their hand, but there are only 2 spots here in North America. Heroes Hearth, it's kind of easy to forget about them. They qualified in week 9, such a dominant team, but here we do have Tempo Storm, our second representative for the HGC finals.
And I can't help but feel moments like this, Jay Howe, are inspiration for teams like Team Freedom and Octalysis moving forward towards those Western clashes. That is the way North America finds its way to get those triple representatives, and is why Europe, is going to have that extra representative here. It's very much to each their own. Whoever wins the Western clash, you deserve it.
Dredden, we're done here for Phase 2. Crucible's next week, by the way, so don't forget about that. But any last words before we depart, before we make our return in about 3 or 4 weeks at opening week?
I mean, everybody tuning into the HGC, always a huge amount of thank you from my end, especially being the weird guy that comes in and comes out back and forth. The fact that everybody, for the most part, seems to embrace me with open arms is a very satisfying thing. Thank you for being at the other side. Keeping things in charge, in the words of Fan, maybe demonkeying this desk a little bit, as you know. And, other than that, go fast and take chances.
Guys, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here throughout the entirety of Phase 2 and throughout the entire year. We will have the HGC Finals coming up at the end of October leading into BlizzCon, but that's going to do it for us here at HGC. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the Nexus.
Tempo's quickly going to want to try and retreat.
Riptire is the key. Riptire's now off cooldown. He's going to go ahead and rip it. Zugrug short on that, but here comes the Riptire into the Warden's cage. But we see Maev is actually going to be the first one down. Nubrak will use that cocoon, but the isolation onto Collusion, trying to track away. But there goes the lockdown as Tempo Storm comes in with a double kill.
Kerrigan not going to go in. Lutano trying to clear on the back line. Got to join back. 5 seconds out from the Punisher lead. And Freedom cannot mess this up.
Oh, he jumped over to one. The instant combo. Tempo Storm just blew that fight wide open. A beautiful play. We will have to see that one again by Dahaka, and here we go. Tempo Storm looking to try and close it out right here against Team Freedom. Lutano and Zugrug trying to stay on this. The shields have fallen. Members starting to come back. Stage dive comes in. Finn, they've got to get Finn taken down. 70% and falling. And right now, Tempo Storm still on this core. 50% and falling. Tempo Storm, they're starting to fall. They're starting to die. That's 2 members down.
I don't think they have the damage. 20%, 23, going 19, 15, 2 members alive. And that is the wipe. Freedom hold on at 14%.
They're going to try and go for it, see if they can make it. Cattle starting to fall. There's going to be the stun, but the Icebound Fortitude enough for him to walk away. Finn, however, Finn getting the heals. Finn staying alive, but Finn finally falls. 70% falling on the side of Tempo Storm. Team Freedom looking to go ahead and even this series and try and complete the comeback for a second day in a row as another member from Tempo Storm falls, and Team Freedom has done it again.
One tick of pepper. He does not. Gloron, W and Q is available to close the gap. He will.
The root follow-up, there's going to be a flare right onto 3 people, but it's not enough, but it is going to be enough. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Nasmus continuing to try and live back there. Collusion trying to get the heals out. Nasmus, that's going to be the 3rd member to fall. Collusion will get the whip back. That will buy some time, some energy, but Collusion, he is in pursuit by Glaurung. That's going to be a 4th kill. Tempo Storm starting to fight back, Dred.
To the team, that's a huge problem. And there goes the stun out from Collusion, the Divine June, the Lunar. Oh my gosh, they get the Rain of Vengeance as well, but if they can't kill June, they burn so much. And look at Lutano on the back end. There's the Crystal Aegis. Glaurung gets the kill, and now Tempo Storm can wreak havoc here.
If they get this team-wide Dred, it's game over. Lights out. That's 2 members down. Collusion and team, they're starting to fold. This is going to be the Illidan show from here on out.
Yoda has
catapults are on court.
Ball was very desperate. They might all in this in jail. I don't know if they can. There goes the hunt.
There's the heal coming out. Rain of Vengeance comes down in response. Starfall starting to come down. Zugrug, the bunker is out. That's going to only save him. That'll give him an exit out on the side, but the Lunar Flare, the Sentinel will land for the slow on Zugrug. That's why he's having trouble walking away. That's going to add another root in there. Cattle starting to zone off. Zugrug
trouble. Sunrug is down, and now Sonya is just now joining the fight. Lutano trying to kite away, but the Howling Blast ends up connecting. No Lunar Flare going to be thrown out there quite yet as they land the slow. Glarung, now he's licking his chops here on that Illidan, knowing that the retreat is too far. Collusion's going to be the focus. The Lunar Flare comes in, and another person dead. Now Lutano on the Bala trying to kite away, but Fan gets the auto attack. That is the third kill as the Divine Storm hits, but now Yoda feels the wrath of Tempo Storm.